a system approaching perfection.
We'll walk deeper into the belly of the beast if it means I'm able to further limit risk.
All right, man, this is Danny with the Crypto Show, and I am here with Ned Scott. You're CEO of Steemit. You're not the creator, but you're co-creator of Steemit. How did that work?
Co-founder of Steemit with Dan Larimer, who's moved on to other projects. We also had 4 founding co-members of the team at that time. And basically, Steemit is the first social media platform built on top of a blockchain. And it started with some realizations that you could take the concept of points in social media, like Reddit's Reddit Karma or Dig's Dig. Dig was a platform from way back that had stake-weighted point voting. And you could take that concept and you could build it right into a blockchain. You can make a cryptocurrency function like the internet points we had been seeing in social media platforms that are rewarded to people as they create content. We felt that could help build a cryptocurrency. We felt it could also rank and reward content by quality. We've only been somewhat successful. Excuse me. We've only been somewhat successful in some of those goals, so we continue to develop. We've got some new projects coming out. One, we're overhauling Steemit.com with something called communities to create moderators who control treasuries of cryptocurrency, and we're working on smart media tokens, which is a token launching protocol on the Steem blockchain to allow anyone to launch a cryptocurrency that functions like the Steem token, that has a rewards pool that can be rewarded to people who are taking certain actions as they blog and create content.
So basically, if someone doesn't know what Steemit is, if you're on Facebook, Facebook is your Facebook's product. They're selling you to everyone else. But with Steemit, you own your own content, and you're basically being rewarded for it.
You kind of own it. You also kind of give it up to the commons. You put it on the blockchain, and it's there publicly forever. That's one of the interesting things about it. That also causes censorship resistance. You know that if you're going to give your content to the blockchain, it's going to be there for all time as long as the blockchain exists, the Steem blockchain. So it's not one of these things where you're permissioning content. You're really submitting it to a public database. And there are certain benefits we all get by putting some of our content into a public domain, including lots of application developers can leverage our data to offer us applications that serve up our data or make it easy to interact with each other as we move across from application to application.
You see lately a lot of people are talking about or actually moving away from Facebook. Has that been advantageous for Steemit?
We see that hashtag on Steemit all the time. People make some direct comparisons, and I think some of them are warranted. If they're looking for a new way to spend their time online where they can get information that they want to read, that they find valuable to themselves. But at the same time, we should also acknowledge there's fundamental differences in the model of Facebook and Steemit. Steemit's meant to be an open platform where you can see and view other people's profiles and their blogging history without really any barriers. Facebook was always meant to be an offering where it gave you privacy around your niche community, your friends and family. You know, you only see the people and see the data from the people you know, right, was their offering. It's an inherently different model from what is being offered on Steem. Now, we've seen that Facebook may have abused that model a little bit and given away some more of the data than we wanted them to. So that's one good reason that you might come over to Steemit, because you're not going to have that mismanagement of expectations. But at the same time, they are somewhat different models. We should acknowledge that too.
Steemit is censorship resistant, and you're seeing a lot of YouTube channels getting censored these days, and everybody's going to Dtube.
Well, they're being demonetized, right?
Yeah, being demonetized or basically censored altogether. I mean, like recently, the cannabis channels were completely dropped from YouTube, and so now there's something actually similar to Steemit that's come out that is cannabis centric. Do you know what that is, or have you heard about it?
I haven't heard about that yet. No.
Oh, okay. Somebody was telling me about it. I'll have to check back and get the names on that, but it's kind of the same model as Steemit, but it's targeted at the cannabis industry. It's like Mary Jane or something like that.
What sort of technology are they using?
I think it's basically a copy of Steemit.
Okay, so they may have some challenges in bootstrapping the economics, but clearly it's a model that offers something to the people who are pushed to the fringe of society. Creating a permanently available database from which you can build applications, and where you know the data that gets submitted through the applications is going to be persistent, even if the applications are attacked or the users are subverted. That data will continue to persist so that those users at the end of the day will have access to their community and their data. Kudos to that, and them realizing that they can get some value from this technology.
And you guys didn't even build Dtube. Someone else
built Dtube, along with 350, more than 350 other applications built from the Steem blockchain. There's lots of other interfaces to the Steem blockchain where people can push data or write new data. There's lots of statistics tools. So Dtube is just one of the few that has been very successful in grabbing mainstream attention. They're pulling over real YouTubers. But yes, it's built by a developer based in France. I hadn't heard of him or met him until he built Dtube and it began to have success.
Yeah, we just recently opened a Dtube channel, so we'll be using it a lot more. That's great. It's great stuff, man.
Yeah, it is. We're moving to a really cool future. It's just around the corner.
And so, what's the newest for Steemit? What's the newest thing to come out for Steemit? And how can people sign up? And most importantly, how do they protect their password so that they don't start an account and not lose it?
When you get a password on Steemit, you sign up on Steemit like other things, but then you get given a password that has you're given a password instead of creating your own password. The reason for this is your password will contain much more randomness if it's generated by this random password generator. It's a very long password. You won't be able to memorize it. You shouldn't try to memorize it. You should store it in a password manager like LastPass that is cloud-based. Once you have that set, you should come into the system, play around with things. You can learn more about the public and private key system that's attached to that password. You can store all your passwords, the private keys associated with your password individually. There's specifically a private key for posting, another for transacting with the cryptocurrency, and another called the owner key that's there to help you reset either of those passwords in case either is compromised or stolen. So it's a bit complicated. We don't necessarily need to go that deep. It can be much simpler. It can be as simple as, hey, show up to Steemit, sign up, get your password, and begin using the platform.
Can you give a brief description of how Steem dollars and Steem Power are different and how they work?
The important currency in the Steem blockchain ecosystem is the Steem currency, spelled uppercase S-T-E-E-M. That's it. There's a couple other financial contracts or smart contracts built into the platform, but they don't have the same importance. The Steem dollar is an experimental other currency in the system that doesn't have a direct impact necessarily on the success of the system. Steem Power is simply Steem that is locked up and gives voting rights to the users of the platform. So if you want to have influence and help decide where newly minted Steem is sent, to which authors it gets sent to, then you want to power up your Steem. You want to lock it up into a contract. As it gets locked up, you gain that influence to decide where the new...
You're staking.
You're staking in a way, but what you really do is you're getting influence over the rewards pool, which is the section of newly minted Steem. Every day there's new Steem minted, just like there's new Bitcoin minted every single day. But the difference is that Steem gets allocated to authors of the posts that are being submitted to Steem. So you get control over where the new tokens go.
Yeah. No, even long before Steem, when I was on the Let's Talk Bitcoin network, we had LTV coin, and that's exactly what Steem reminded me of. Yeah, it was actually built on Counterparty. So you would get these coins. I mean, it was thousands of them, but depending on the market, I mean, sometimes I would cash out for $1,000. I was like, wow. So it's pretty good. I mean, I guess if you're waiting and holding for the right time, you can actually make some good money on Steem.
Well, I think the biggest thing is that people pay attention to this future of opportunity, where the content creators getting opportunity from cryptocurrencies, where entrepreneurs are getting opportunity to launch communities, and they get to launch it with capabilities for fundraising fundraising capabilities, for monetizing through their community, and capabilities for their community to grow autonomously. The way we're enabling that at Steemit is by building a protocol called Smart Media Tokens. So we're founding this new protocol called Smart Media Tokens that works on top of the Steem blockchain, and I'm very excited about it. So
when is that going to be
keep
released?
your Google alerts triggered to the term Smart Media Tokens. That'll be released by the end of the year. We'll see a testnet much sooner so people can begin playing with the technology.
All right. Will there be any integration of EOS? I mean,
EOS is a separate blockchain. You know, I think it's a completely different thing. It's like Ethereum. It's like BitShares. It's like Bitcoin. You know, it's running its own.
I mean, since the roots are so tight there with Dan and everything.
Well, there's some similarities to what's going on there, but at the end of the day, you're dealing with a general purpose platform. Its whole selling point is, hey, there's some basic primitives in here for account management, but at the end of the day, the business logic that's going to be really cool is all being built in this general purpose scripting area, a little sandbox for writing new code. There's some challenges for that type of code, and can you verify that code to make sure it's safe and all that sort of thing, and then you compare that to what's going on with Steem. Steem is built in an application-specific way. The business logic that people care about that manipulates the value of the tokens inside the blockchain is all hard-coded. It all exists at that same level of consensus, and that's valuable in being able to provide to the community assurance that the code is reviewed, that the code will be safe. You know that if you're using something built on Steem, whether it's the Steem currency or SMTs, you know that it works a certain way. When you're using something that is a product of a virtual machine, you're subject to all the same risks that we're seeing Ethereum run into now, where suddenly some random guy is going and plugging some operation into the blockchain that causes all these contracts to become forever locked. It's a huge problem, right? So there needs to be code review, there needs to be quality contracts, and not everyone is qualified to write smart contracts. For me, the future is in understanding why currencies matter, why cryptocurrencies matter. For me, it's about community building. That's why we're all about smart media tokens, which enables core business functions like fundraising, monetizing, and growing communities. And we believe if we can focus on that in an application-specific model, we can scale better than any general-purpose model, whether it's Ethereum or EOS or Tezos or any of these.
Well, I mean, you've already proved the naysayers wrong. I think Tone Vase came out early on and bashing Steem.
There's been a lot of criticism of Steem and Steemit over the years, and especially in that first early year.
And I don't get it. It's like, it didn't cost you anything to come here. How are you being scammed?
There's been nothing that caused people's expectations to be disrupted. They weren't told that they had to buy anything. There's been nothing but, hey, here's a platform to use. And in fact, it was
you're rewarded for doing it.
It's one of the only platforms, other than maybe Bitcoin at the time that it came out, that was actually usable. And we've continued to make ground. We've continued to add distance from where we are to others because no one's been able to play even in this space with us.
I mean, in this space, you see, there's a million projects, but
none have a product.
Nobody has a product.
There's projects,
it's all vaporware.
Projects without products, except for Steemit and Steem and all the apps building on Steem. So, I think we're really onto something that acts as a real particle accelerator for the nature of cryptocurrency. We're getting grandmas and grandpas involved, people from all over the world, in ways that other cryptocurrencies just aren't able to, because they can't reach across the table and show people how great cryptocurrency
I hope to reach some grandmas and grandpas in the very near future for you and get that going.
Let's do it.
All right, man.
All right, well, great. Thanks for having me.